What if the most talked about moment in the Tell Me Lies series finale wasn't really a choice? For 3 seasons, fans watched Lucy get pulled into Stephen DeMarco's orbit in a dizzying cycle of passion, betrayal, and heartbreak. So when the final episode showed Lucy, after everything, choosing to get in the car with him, it left people reeling. It seemed to undermine her entire journey, but a darker theory puts that moment in a whole new light. Lucy's decision in the Tell Me Lies finale wasn't a moment of weakness. It was the predictable final move in a toxic game she was always set up to lose. The evidence has been hiding in plain sight all along. To understand why Lucy drives off with the man who helped ruin her life, we have to look past the romance and into the cold, hard psychology of manipulation. This wasn't a relapse. It was the end of the line. Let's set the stage, because the series finale was pure chaos. We're at Bree and Evan's wedding, years after the main events of college, and the tensions that have defined this friend group are about to boil over. The person holding the match is, of course, Stephen DeMarco. But the explosion doesn't happen the way you might expect. At the reception, Stephen pulls Bree aside, and after piecing things together, he finally realizes the truth. It was Bree, not him, who leaked the confession tape that got Lucy expelled from college years ago. Armed with this knowledge, Stephen goes nuclear. He grabs the DJ's microphone and detonates a bomb in the middle of the party. He tells everyone that Bree and Wrigley have been having an affair for months. And then, most cruelly, he reveals that Bree was the one who destroyed Lucy's life. It's a moment of absolute devastation. Friendships are shattered, the wedding is ruined, and in the middle of the wreckage stands Stephen, looking at Lucy. He offers her an escape. "Come with me," he says, and against every rational thought, against the desperate pleas of her now former best friend, she gets in the car. We see them driving off, and for a second, it feels like the ultimate toxic victory. He's proven he can have her whenever he wants. But the story doesn't stop there. They pull into a desolate gas station as the sun rises. Lucy goes inside for coffee, and when she comes back out, he's gone. Her purse is on the road. He's abandoned her. And as the reality of this final, pathetic betrayal sinks in, Lucy does something no one expected. She laughs. A stunned, disbelieving, and almost relieved laugh. The online reaction was immediate. Confusion and outrage. Why would she go with him? After everything he did, how could she fall for it again? It felt like a massive step backward for her character. But this is where the dark theory begins. Her decision wasn't a spontaneous mistake. It was the result of years of psychological conditioning, a pattern so deeply ingrained that this moment was, in many ways, inevitable. To understand Lucy's choice, you have to understand the invisible chains that bind people in toxic relationships. This isn't just a story about bad decisions. It's a textbook case of psychological manipulation, and the showrunners expertly wove these concepts right into the narrative. The first and most important idea is trauma bonding. This isn't about love, it's about addiction. Trauma bonding happens in a repeating cycle of abuse followed by kindness. The abuser creates intense, negative emotions. Fear, anxiety, shame, and then swoops in to provide relief from them. Stephen is a master of this. He creates a crisis, humiliates Lucy, isolates her, and then positions himself as the only one who understands. This cycle of intense highs and lows creates a powerful chemical bond in the brain. Much like a drug addiction, Lucy isn't addicted to Stephen. She's addicted to the roller coaster he puts her on. The moments of kindness feel so good precisely because the pain was so bad. Next, there's the tactic of intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. You don't get a reward every time. You get one just often enough to keep you playing. Stephen rarely gives Lucy what she truly wants: stability, honesty, commitment. But every now and then, he offers a breadcrumb of affection or a moment of seeming vulnerability. This unpredictability keeps her hooked, always hoping that this time will be different. At the wedding, after blowing up her entire social circle, he offers her what feels like the ultimate reward. None of these people are going to respect you after today, so I'm sort of all you've got left. For someone conditioned to crave his validation, that's an almost impossible pull to resist. Finally, you have to look at Stephen through the lens of narcissistic personality disorder. While the show never officially diagnoses him, he exhibits classic traits: A grandiose sense of self, a profound lack of empathy, and an insatiable need for admiration and control. Relationships aren't partnerships. They are games to be won. Actor Jackson White, who plays Stephen, has pointed out his character's victim mentality and impulsive desire to win at all costs. And showrunner Megan Oppenheimer has said that Stephen's need to win and to punish is stronger than his desire to be happy. He doesn't want Lucy because he loves her. He wants her because possessing her is the ultimate victory. By getting her to leave with him, he proves to himself and everyone else that he still owns her. These psychological forces create a perfect storm. Lucy, already vulnerable from past traumas, became the perfect target. It's not about her being weak, it's about him being a predator who knew exactly which wounds to target. The series is littered with clues that support this dark theory. From the very beginning, Lucy's journey is marked by a state of psychological distress. She often seems detached from reality, a classic defense mechanism. Grace Van Patten, the actress who plays Lucy, has talked about her character disassociating during moments of extreme stress, reverting to a childlike state where she can't process what's happening. We see this clearly when she's expelled. She's not angry or defiant, she's just gone, a blank slate. This is the mental fragility Stephen preys on. Think about the pattern. Every time Lucy tries to pull away, a crisis erupts that forces her back into his orbit. He methodically isolates her from her friends, particularly Bree, by positioning himself as the only person she can trust. By the time we get to the wedding, Lucy's support system is in ruins, largely by his design. When she gets in that car, it feels less like a choice and more like a surrender. She's on an island, and he's the only boat in sight. The showrunner, Megan Oppenheimer, has shared an insight that perfectly supports this theory. She explained that for Lucy to ever truly be free, Stephen had to be the one to end it. Because he can't stand being rejected, he would have always come back to get the last word. By abandoning her at the gas station, he won the game in his own mind. And in doing so, he finally, accidentally, set her free. He gave up his power over her because, for him, the chase was over. So, what is the dark theory? Lucy going with Stephen wasn't a relapse into love. It was the final, logical step in her long, painful education in emotional abuse. She got in that car not because she thought it would work out, but because she was psychologically exhausted and had been conditioned to follow his lead. It was the path of least resistance in a moment of total collapse. And that brings us to the laugh. That laugh at the gas station is everything. It's not a laugh of happiness or insanity, it's a laugh of bitter, horrifying clarity. It is the aha moment. As Grace Van Patten explains it, it's a moment of relief and freedom. It's the sound of a person hitting rock bottom and realizing they're still alive. The laugh is her acknowledging the absurdity of it all. Of course, it says. Of course he did this. How could I have ever thought he was anything other than this? In that single moment, the illusion is shattered. The trauma bond, the intermittent reinforcement, it all breaks. He didn't just abandon her, he gave her the one thing no one else could. Definitive proof that he is, and always will be, a snake. There's no more ambiguity, no more hope. There is only the cold, hard, liberating truth. Oppenheimer calls it a moment of release, where Lucy gains the self-awareness she's been missing. The game is over because Stephen thinks he won, but in reality, by playing his final, predictable card, he lost his hold on her forever. She's alone, in a bridesmaid's dress, at a random gas station, but for the first time in years, she is truly free. In the end, Tell Me Lies was never a love story. It was, as the creators have said, a cautionary tale about emotional abuse. It's a story about how our unhealed wounds can make us vulnerable to dynamics that can destroy us. Lucy's experience at the gas station wasn't a failure. It was her brutal, unconventional graduation. It's the moment she finally sees the man in front of her not as a lost soul she can save, but as a black hole she has to escape. She had to let him win one last time so that she could finally walk away from the game for good. That's the dark theory behind the gas station escape. It reframes the finale from a story of weakness to one of grim, hard-won freedom. But what do you think? Did Lucy finally break the cycle, or is this just another pause? Let me know your theories down below. And if you like deep dives into your favorite shows, make sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching!